And the Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, not in attendance at training camp. Now, keep in mind, for each day he's not there, the team can fine him $40,000. But because he's on his rookie contract, the team also has the ability to waive those fines at the appropriate time. So with the Cowboys and CeeDee Lamb far apart on a new deal, there's really no reason for CeeDee Lamb to be there. The strongest way he can make a statement is not showing up, knowing his importance to the team, and he, like others, is not at training camp as he awaits a lucrative new contract extension.
Along the lines of that importance, Adam, CeeDee Lamb, by far the Cowboys' most productive receiver last season. Look at this. His franchise record, 1,749 receiving yards, were over 1,000 more than Dallas's next closest wide receiver in Brandon Cooks. That was the largest gap between a team leader in receiving yards and the next closest wide receiver last season. Louis, could the Cowboys have avoided this situation with the predicament that they're in right now?
Yeah, they could have just paid him. They could have paid him the going rate, Laura, and kind of like read the room and really read the market maybe a little bit better and got out in front of it. Look, there's always a number of different reasons as to why negotiations don't actually, result in a quicker contract resolution. And we don't know the whole story. We don't know how these conversations are going back and forth. But, man, it is hard to figure out why, considering his importance to this offense, as you just laid out, with the difference between him and the next closest wide receiver in terms of yards receiving, why you haven't been able to strike what all of us would perceive to be fair value for this player. I mean, CeeDee is just that good. Look, he's just that good. It's not even really a debate. And really, if you take it next level, Laura, and I like to think about this thing in bigger picture terms, the importance of the wide receiver position. Adam has used the term wide receiver salaries have exploded this offseason in particular. There's another reason why they have. Look, their importance to the game overall, I've said this numerous different times, they're the second most important position in football now at any level. They just are, because the game has become an explosive play game. It's become, can you win the game on one play? Do you have players that can turn the game around for you on one play? Wide receivers are the guys who do that. They just are. Wide receivers, when teams play like that, it attracts other players. College coaches talk about it all the time. When you have a high-flying scoring offense, it makes other players want to come and play there. Same thing in the NFL. When you have a team that can put up points, guys want to go and play for those types of teams. And teams that put up points and play exciting football, they generate big-time revenue. They sell a lot of merchandise. People want to be associated with those teams. CeeDee does this all for Dallas. Jerry Jones is the best businessman in pro sports. It's without a doubt in the NFL. He understands the importance of this guy, the importance of CeeDee Lamb to his organization. I don't, for the life of me, understand why it's gotten to the point where CeeDee doesn't even want to go to camp. Now he's willing to say, you know what, fine me. I'm not going to do a sit-in or a hold-in. I'm going to hold out totally. That tells you just how wide the gulf must be between these two sides, and that is just mind-boggling to me. It is, considering, again, objectively, how important his position is and how important he is to this franchise.
Lou, it is a bit mind-boggling because you think about it, like there's a roadmap. We just had the highest, average per year for the receivers. Like it's been done, and it's been done recently. And so if you just look at the market, like what it should take to get CeeDee Lamb under contract. And listen, I agree with you. Jerry Jones has been a great businessman, but I think that you can just look at some past negotiations with some of his current players and say they've done a really bad job with this. In fact, I think if it wasn't a franchise that had the star, we'd be talking about how cheap they are, how slow they are to get deals done, and how much it's costing them and hurting their football team. Like, we would be ripping the Bengals, or we would be ripping the Cardinals if they were in a situation like this with a player that they had drafted and developed. We'd be ripping them because we all see what's going on right now between CeeDee, between Micah Parsons, between Dak Prescott. They've got to deal with all of it, and dragging their feet on CeeDee is only going to make it more expensive. Just like they dragged their feet on Dak Prescott, it made it more expensive.
And this is the one that should have been the easiest deal to get done. Now, you could make the argument that CeeDee Lamb was waiting for Justin Jefferson to do his deal, and maybe he was. But Justin Jefferson's deal was done weeks ago. Once his deal is done, it's pretty simple to get this deal done. And yet, this deal was not done before training camp. And now, a team that has its quarterback entering the last year of his contract, a defensive standout who wants a new deal, the entire coaching staff in the last year of its contracts, now it has more uncertainty over the most certain player that it has on its roster, a player you know you wanted and needed to re-sign when the market was defined for everybody, and they still didn't get it done. And again, Louis, by the way, it just makes sense for CeeDee Lamb not to be there because in the end, he can have the Cowboys rescind those fines, and the biggest statement he can make right now is saying, go on with your training camp, I will stay at home, and when you need me, we'll get this deal done and I'll be there.
Yeah, it's a hell of a statement by CD. That's for sure. You can tell, look, he's saying, look, what more do you want me to do? Really, what more do you want me to do? And as you laid out, look, the market has been defined. You know I belong up there in the 35 per year range, given my importance to this team. Now, everybody can come flood my mentions all you want and say, he's not as good as Justin Jefferson. He doesn't deserve that amount, on a percentage basis of the cap. Okay. Just project forward what you think this offense looks like if CeeDee Lamb isn't on it right now. If he's not on it right now, you just tell me where the explosive component's going to come from. They might not make the playoffs without him on this football team.
Yeah. No, Lou,
you tell me if Jerry Jones wants that.
Right. He continues to say that he can't sleep at night because he's thinking about a Super Bowl. A reminder, too, that CeeDee Lamb, a couple weeks ago, he was hosting a youth camp, and he told the media he would not comment about this. The statement he's making today speaks a lot louder than anything he could have even said in the media.